Assalamu alaikum. I am Tanzila Khanam and this is Psychology Basics Intermediate Lectures of Psychology. Today we will start our new chapter Nervous System and Behavior. Today our lecture includes the following topics: meaning and importance of nervous system, neurons, their structure and function, different types of neurons, then what is the difference between neurons and nerves, what is nerve impulse, what do we mean by synapse, and what is sensory threshold level. So let's start with the meaning and importance of nervous system in behavior. Nervous system is the organized system of nerves. This organized system of nerves becomes the reason to behave in a specific manner is called nervous system. Because psychology deals with the mental processes and behavior of the living organisms, it is necessary to understand the physiology of nervous system because it controls all types of mental and behavioral changes. All types of actions and reactions of a living organisms, whether they are voluntary or involuntary, whether they are major or minor, simple or complicated, all depend on the correct functioning of the nervous system. So, as a student of psychology, it is essential to become aware of the basic structure and function of the nervous system to understand the behaviors and reactions of the organism. In addition to behavior, all of our knowledge about the world come through nervous system. And how we gain it? We get information through our five senses: vision, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. All these information are interpreted through nervous system. So our main source of knowledge and behaviors come through our nervous system. That makes it clear how important it is. So all the knowledge that comes from the environment through our five senses, that is interpreted through nervous system. To make it clear with example, we can say that we experience happiness and sorrow in life. We experience soft and melodious sounds that make us happy and harsh sounds that we try to avoid. Smiling faces make us happy, whereas angry persons make us feel bad. All these feelings and resulting behavior is called caused by our nervous system. The importance of nervous system is obvious from the fact that it is the brain that control the and makes a human being the crown of creation. Our central nervous system that includes brain and spinal cord uh, are very much important in making the human beings unique and different from other creatures. Physically, some other creatures are more vigorous than human being. He is not the fastest or strongest, but lions and horses are superior in speed and power. But his nervous system and ability to reason makes him distinctive from others. According to John V. Basmigian, even the hand of a man that possesses many capabilities to work is not unique of all, but it is his brain or central nervous system that controls all his movements. The nervous system controls all voluntary and involuntary actions. To understand the system, we will start from its basic unit, neuron. The basic unit of nervous system is neuron. Neuron is the basic unit or building block of the nervous system. Nerve is the plural of neuron that spreads throughout the whole body. Neuron cannot be seen with naked eye. They vary in length from 1 over 200 inches to 4 feet long. Every neuron gets stimulated by internal or external stimuli. And transmit energy to the next neuron in the form of electrical signals. They receive sensation of cold, heat, pain, taste, touch, etc. and send them to the brain. Now we will talk about the structure of a neuron. A neuron looks like this. Every neuron has three parts: cell body or soma, dendrites, and axon. Cell body is located somewhere between dendrites and axon. It contains a nucleus in its center that sends and receives message. It also contains a chemical fluid, protoplasm, that is surrounded by a membrane. Dendrites are thin branch-like structures that are extended from the cell body. They detect changes in the environment and receive and transmit these changes in form of nerve impulses to cell body or soma. There is very little distance between the dendrites of one neuron and the axon of the other. Hence, the one neuron transmits energy easily to the next neuron. The third part is axon. Axon also extends from the cell body. It is a tube-like structure that divides into very thin fibers and it extends a long distance. Axon is covered with a sensitive layer of chemicals that is called myelin sheath. This layer increases the speed of signal transmission. It is very important to understand that axon carry messages away from the cell body. Through axon, they travel forward to other neuron. Axon vary in length from thousands of an inch to several feet long. Even some of them reach to the toe. Now we shall talk about the types of neurons. There are three types of neurons. Number one, sensory or afferent neurons. They receive signals from external environment and carry them to brain or spinal cord. They are activated by a sensory input. Sensory neurons have special cells at their ends that are called receptors. Receptors are cells that receive stimuli from the internal or external environment. These receptors have the ability to detect touch, temperature, taste, smell, and light sensation, etc. The second type of neuron is motor or afferent neurons. They take commands from the brain and carry these commands to muscles, organs, and glands. The body then make voluntary movements according to these commands. The third type is associative or interneurons. They provide a connection between sensory and motor neurons. They are more in number than sensory and motor neurons. They help in passing signals between two neurons, but they are not necessarily present everywhere. At some places, motor and sensory neurons directly form an association between them, as in the case of reflex action or reflex arc. Reflex actions are reflex or are our spontaneous reactions. For example, we uh, 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 remove our hand from a hot pan immediately, but we feel the pain after removing our hand. In that cases, spinal cord directly takes the command and give and send motor neurons towards the hand to remove it before they are reached to the brain. In the case of emergency, immediate action is required and spinal cord takes the action instead of the brain. So this is called reflex action or reflex arc, where the connection between sensory and motor neuron is present immediately. After going through the structure and types of neuron, now we shall discuss how the neuron works. It is called nerve impulse. Nerve impulse is the message that travels in neurons. It is the way in which neurons communicate with each other. There are mostly electrical signals that bring electrochemical changes in neurons. Every neuron has chemical particles. These chemical particles are immediately excited by external or internal stimuli because they are so sensitive. When they are excited by external stimuli, they generate electrical charge that travels in the form of nerve impulse. Every neuron has a positive charge outside and negative charge inside. When an external stimulus excites the neuron, some chemical changes are resulted. These chemical changes also change the electrical charge of the neuron for the time being. It means that positive and negative charges change their places temporarily. If both of these charges are equal in strength, the organism is in a state of rest that is called polarization. But if the positive charge is transmitted to the negative charge inside the neuron, it is called depolarization or action potential. it results in nerve impulse. It results in nerve impulse that travels like a wave or electrical signal through the neuron and then to the next neuron till it reaches the brain. So in this way, neurons work and different messages passes from external body to the brain and spinal cord. Now here it is important to understand the difference between neuron and nerve. Neuron is the basic unit of nervous system. And it is a single cell. Whereas nerves is a collection of neurons. Just as a telephone wire contains a lot of thin wires, a nerve contains a number of neurons. Neuron has three parts that we have discussed earlier: cell body, dendrites and axons. Whereas a nerve can contain hundreds of neurons. That work together to carry the messages to the brain. So these are two basic difference between nerve and neuron. Now our next topic is synapse. Synapse is a small gap between two neurons where the nerve impulse is transmitted from the axon of one neuron. So look here, from the axon of one neuron to the dendrites of the next neuron. Here you can see that there is a small gap between the ending of axon and the starting of the dendrites of second neuron. The dendrites of a neuron is connected to the axon of the other, but they are not completely attached with each other. There is a very little gap. And this gap is called synapse. There are some chemical molecules present in this synapse that makes the transmission of nerve impulse possible. The nerve impulse jumps from parent neuron. This is the parent neuron and this is the next neuron. From the parent neuron to the next neuron and return after relaying the messages. This transmission is made very fast due to this synapse, like lightning. Even thousands of such neural messages can be conveyed in 1 second. Now another important factor in detection of a stimulus is sensory threshold level. The minimum intensity of a stimulus that is essential for its detection is called sensory threshold. If its intensity or level is lower than a specific limit, it cannot be detected by our sensory receptors. This minimum limit of a stimulus that is required to be detected is its sensory threshold level. Now, it is important to understand that once a stimulus is detected, the energy to transmit this message is provided by the neuron. And the stimulation with high or low level of energy travels in neurons at the same speed. Now the question is that why do we differentiate between a pad and a bouncer? The answer is that in the case of patting, the energy waves produced in the neurons are less in number than the waves produced in case of a bouncer. So despite the same speed, the collective effect is different in both cases. The difference lies in the number of waves produced by the stimulation. This is called the differential threshold, where our brain can detect the difference between two stimuli of different intensity. So it was our nervous system and neuron and importance in behavior. Hope you found it helpful. If so, please like and share the video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.